Today we're going to talk about how animals change their environment, but how they can also affect the environment or the system that they live in. So in the video you just watched, it was about invasive species. So those are different plants or animals that take over an environment or a system. That can happen in a negative way. And when animals change their environment, like the beaver, they build their dam, so they change the system of the river. Instead of it's a nice flowing river, they build their dam, and then it blocks up the river and it makes a pond, which it can flood the area. It helps them find their food, but it changes the area or the environment that they live in. The other day we talked about prairie dogs. And prairie dogs, they build their tunnels underground. They might look so cute and fuzzy, but an effect that they have on their environment is that when they have their holes in their homes all over the place, it can be very dangerous for livestock. Horses and cows can step in those holes and injure themselves or break their legs. And then we also have them on our playground, and our playground is difficult to play on because of all of the different mounds all over the place. They've changed the flat environment to now where it's lumpy and bumpy, and it's difficult for us and the kids to go out inside and play. They also eat the grass all around it, so if they eat all the grass, then there's just dirt, and they won't have their food there anymore, so they'll have to move and find a different place to find what they need, food and shelter. Another animal that can cause some problems is a hornworm. Sometimes people call them tomato worms because they come into your garden and they eat the leaves. So if you look at this plant, it is totally stripped of its leaves and the flowers. What happens is after the plant that's growing, it needs its leaves to get the air it needs to make its own food. But when the tomato worm or the hornworm comes in and eats it, then that plant dies. So these nasty little critters get in the garden and they kill the plants. So they're getting what they need. They need food, but then the plant is not able to get what it needs because it doesn't have any leaves anymore. One last animal, another bug, is a squash bug. And they come into your garden, and they particularly like squash plants, and they lay their eggs on it. But then after all the babies hatch, they come in and they kill the plants. They inject a venom or a poison, I can't remember which, and they kill the plants. So if this plant is trying to live and have big green leaves to get the sun and the nutrients it needs, but the leaves are destroyed and the plant is poisoned, then they die. So some animals that live in environments, they need food, water, shelter, and air. Plants need food, water, space to live, and air, but sometimes the other animals that live in the same environment can affect each other. So think about if you've ever seen a plant or an animal change its environment.